Hey everyone, welcome back to Political X. For more knowledge and updates on UK, European and US politics, make sure you subscribe to this channel. So this weekend, I've gone off and just found a ton of footage showing people really hacked off with Brexit and wanting to change their mind. And I'm very mixed about it. At the end of the day, some of these people are grown adults. They're able to make their own decisions. They should be held accountable. But at the same time, what do you do with people who've been brainwashed and had untold amounts of propaganda thrown at them and basically made to feel if they don't vote Brexit, if they don't support Brexit, then they don't love their country. It's absolutely outrageous nationalism and it's propaganda that reminds me of the 1930s in Europe. So what I've found here is an article from a business owner who says, I made a mistake voting for Brexit and their stock sits waiting to leave the warehouse because it can't go into the EU because people don't want to pay for it. It's more expensive getting it from the UK than it is inside the internal market. To some extent, I feel sorry for people who are facing these issues and voted Brexit. But at the same time, I'm very much a person who goes, well, you made your bed, now lie in it. And a lot of them don't seem to want to. Now, to be really clear, what seems to be the issue is that they don't think the UK ever had any say in the rules and regulations that were being passed in the EU. Well, they did. This person here seems to be an antithesis of this and really seems to be saying, hey, I didn't like all the rules and regulations, all the safety standards they were putting on us. It was costing me a bit of money for my business. Well, the fact is, all of our politicians could go in and debate inside the EU what we wanted. This was then sent over to representatives that we voted for inside the European Parliament and they decided what rules and regulations were going to take place. But the main principle is that it was at a low level. So what we wanted across the EU was for everything to be formalised and agreed upon at a base level. That way you lower the issues related to competition within workplaces. Now there were other issues, you'd be crazy to think that there weren't. But not on the same level of destruction as Brexit has been causing. And quite frankly, for those of you that were duped by Brexit, start taking responsibility for your actions. They have harmed people. They've destroyed businesses. There are people that are now alcoholics as a result of this. But that's okay, because we have our quote-unquote freedom, whatever the hell that means. Well, there seems to have been several things that people voted for. Control of immigration, the ability to be independent, Brits ruled by Brits, supposedly, and then on top of that, economic prosperity. And for those of you that say it wasn't about trade, here's some interesting clips for you.
Now, quite often when we have these debates, it's brought down to a simple issue of trade. I'd like to reassure anyone listening or watching this debate that our trade is not at risk, whether we stay in or we leave. And there's no need to accept my word for that. I'm sure many people here won't accept my word for that, except the word of the German finance minister, who's very clearly stated that he would like Britain to stay in, but if we leave, that of course Germany will want to trade with us on the same terms as she currently does. And why wouldn't Germany? Because she sells us twice as much as we sell Germany.
In more than 100 leave voting areas has shifted. Well, in data analysed by the British newspaper The Observer, more than 25% of British Parliament constituencies that voted to leave the European Union, they now want to remain. Well, joining us live from...
This is not a vote about economics. You know, I'm tired of hearing the pro-EU side telling us foreign direct investment will leave, the city will close, it'll be a disaster. We heard that over the euro.
I'm not saying
20 years ago, and we're hearing the same thing from your side of the argument now. I also really object to the idea that people did not know what they were voting for. They did.
Wouldn't it be terrible if we were like Norway and Switzerland, really? They're rich, they're happy, they're self-governing.
Actually, Norway can afford to give people money. It's rich. It's successful. Norway. They're rich. They top the world's happiness index. They're allowed to catch their own fish.
It would be ghastly if this country was like Norway. Can you imagine it? Rich, free, catching your own fish.
Norway sells 75%
of its overseas goods to the European marketplace. It trades with the European marketplace at a premium. It has opted to be a member of the European Economic Area, which is, in a sense, an anti-room for European Union.
Story about entrepreneurism of a small businessman who makes a big business, and it could get bigger if it wasn't for EU regulation, because this is, as Peter's explained it to me today, an example of where we could where this business could have a much bigger market outside of the EU, but currently cannot export outside it. And of course they're being held back by this regulation, which of course we see every month coming through the European Parliament.
You voted for Brexit. How are you feeling about that now?
I think, be careful what you wish for. Yes, I thought we were going to get a global market. This is going to be a new opportunity. But it hasn't turned out like this. I would have never voted for Brexit if I knew we were going to lose our job.
This is just about trade, it's not. This is about politics. We have voted to run our own country, for better or worse, richer or poorer, till death us do part. That is our decision. And
So it's all about us being rich, but that's nothing to do with trade. Well, how else do you become rich? Frankly, Nigel would mud wrestle his own mother to get Brexit over the line. Do not believe a word that man says. He is a Brexit criminal. Let's now have a listen to some Leave voters and what they think now.
I voted to come out. At the time I'm thinking it's for the best, but at the moment, being honest with you, I'm a bit like this, in between.
I voted Leave myself, and if someone were to ask me whether I vote Leave again, I'm not sure. There's people within our community feel like we've been pawns in all this.
He got in on, I'll get Brexit done. And I suppose he's got Brexit done.
Brexit was, basically.
If I knew the government were going to put no plans in place for Brexit, I would not have supported it. We are running at about 40% of the previous year's turnover on the export market. This is not because of a decline in demand. This is because we are just incapable of supplying it. We cannot physically get the product to the market.
The office.
I really need your help. I voted to leave. The reason I voted to leave mainly was bureaucracy. You know, I'm paying money to my parish council for stuff, and county council, and the rest goes to the government. Now I'm paying somebody else for stuff. But in the last 6 months or so, I've really sort of come round to, you know, big mistakes. You know, the way this has been badly negotiated, we're going to get a poor deal. We might just as well remain in.
I like a lot of people. I cast my vote in 2016. I was an ardent Brexiteer, and I cast it in good faith that bringing what I believe to be the chance to, make our own laws back in this country again. And I believe we'd, be able to form our own trade deals, and it would somehow make our country better. And I believed the politicians, and I used to watch a lot of debates with late night debates with Giselle Stewart.
Yeah.
Andrea Leadsom on the Leave campaign. It really spoke to me, and I thought, wow, we could actually prosper should we leave the European Union and set our own path. But it's took me, 2.5 years since the vote, but it has took me a long time to realise that I bought a dud. I want my money back, James.
When did the needle start to move? Can you remember, or has it just been incremental?
I'm one of these people, I go on social media, I follow Remainers and Leavers, and I sort of tried to argue the Brexit case, and, people will be saying their side of the story, and I'll be saying my side. And it got to the point where I was reading these conversations I was having with other people, and I'm agreeing with everything they're saying, and looking at what I've written and thinking, I don't back that anymore. It's rubbish what I've...
If it's for voting to leave, Nigel, you've got nothing to apologise for, mate. Not to me and not to anyone.
Yeah, I voted leave, and then I went on a bit of a journey, and now I'm very much in the Remainer camp and signing petitions and persuading anybody.
What nudged it? What changed? What made your needle move? That's becoming my new catchphrase, isn't it?
But you asked me when I thought I started to change my mind, and it was pretty early on, because it's when the Gibraltar vote came in. I thought, oh my God, Gibraltar voted to remain. As I say, I thought...
it's about 98% or something absolutely ridiculous,
yeah, I thought I was being all patriotic.
Yes.
And then the two main culprits rocked up on TV the following day with no plan, looking like naughty schoolboys. I thought I've made one hell of a mistake, but...
When it all started, we had flags flying on the boats, Brexit, we're going to be free, get our own waters back.
Did you have one of the flags?
Yeah, we had a flag. We got a brand new flag, put it up. I wouldn't even put it up now. I wouldn't even use it for a rag, what's happened to us.
The seaside town of Aldborough is known for its fresh catches. For 32 years, catches like these have been Kirk Stripling's life. He hoped a Brexit deal would shore up support for British fishermen like him.
There was no negotiations at all as far as we're concerned, because we've still got foreign boats fishing within 6 miles of the coast.
We've gained nothing out of it at all.
Further down the beach, a similar sense of disappointment.
Foreign boats, they seem to always get a bigger cut of the quota, and they just can carry on fishing, whereas we can't. It's all very unfair.
Smith, Bill, what would you like to say?
Actually, James, I owe you an apology, my dear fellow. I was wrong.
Go on.
I was wrong. And I think you're absolutely right. I think that, I'm an old-fashioned git, really, I suppose.
We've spoken before.
Yeah, we've spoken before.
Yeah.
And do you know what? You are right. I was wrong. For some reason, I thought we were better off, and clearly I was wrong.
Well, don't beat yourself up, Bill, mate. Listen to all the people that told you we would be. I've spent the whole morning telling them they've been whispering in your ear, not just for 2.5 years, for 30 years.
I was wrong. I am so sorry.
Oh, Bill, mate, come on.
What have I done to my country? So sorry.
Bill, there's 17.4 million people. You can't take all the blame on your own shoulders, my friend. Come on. And look at the effort. These people are billionaires. They own the Ritz, Bill. They own the Daily Telegraph. They wouldn't have spent all that money and put all that effort into trying to persuade you to act against your own interests if they didn't think it was plausible. I'm not going to let you blame yourself, Bill. All right? No. Blame them, Bill. Blame them, Bill. Do not...
I voted out. I don't really think that we should have, really.
So immigration.
Yeah.
But you see yourself are an immigrant.
Yes, but my wife was English.
Independent research shows that EU immigrants are less likely to claim benefits than UK residents. That's independent research which shows that.
So maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should vote different.
I feel stupid, James.
You're not stupid.
I feel like I'm articulate, I'm well read, but to be sucked in by these lies. I'm ex-forces, and I thought, you know what? It's almost as if I said, to be patriotic, you've got to vote Brexit.
Yes.
I love the NHS. To love the NHS, you've got to vote Brexit because we're going to give them all this money. But also, I feel let down by the Remain campaign.
Yes.
Because throughout the whole of the campaign for Remain or Leave or for Brexit, all I ever saw was the Brexit campaign. Why didn't the Remain campaign step up and try harder?
Part of the reason is the media. So I think you're right. I think the Remain campaign was complacent and misguided and in many ways inadequate. But don't forget what the newspapers were doing and what most people in my kind of work were doing. They were putting so much effort into this and punting out those meaningless sound bites about taking back control. And this kind, I don't want you or Johnny or anyone else to describe themselves or to feel that they are stupid, because there's nothing stupid about believing people you trust.
What about? I'm shocked about both. I'm shocked that we actually have voted to leave. I didn't think that was going to happen. My vote, I didn't think was going to matter too much because I thought we were just going to remain. And the David Cameron resignation has blown me away, to be honest. I think it's been the period of uncertainty that we're going to have for the next couple of months. I think that's just been magnified now. So yeah, quite worried.
Well, I voted to leave, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the EU have been absolutely useless on the vaccines.
Yes.
But I do a lot of eBay to Europe.
Oh,
now,
yes.
no one's buying anything off me in Europe.
No, well, this is the reality, yes.
No, yeah, but I've been lied to. Did anyone say, oh, when we leave the EU, all our stuff's going to be taxed when we try to sell it? So why is someone going to buy something off me? I sell like records and stuff.
Right.
Why is someone going to buy a record off me when there's a 25% tax on it when it goes to Europe? And also, if I buy anything in Europe, we have to pay a tax on it when it comes into the country. It's outrageous.
So
we were so lied to.
Okay, can I just ask you?
You did suddenly think, oh God, like, I actually wish we'd stayed in. But
You voted leave, though?
I did vote leave, but I was undecided. And I think, do you know what? I actually think a lot of people were shocked. Even though everyone went and voted, I still think everyone did think, oh, we'll probably well end up staying in.
I thought exit.
You voted to leave. Why is that?
I voted to leave. I don't know, maybe it wasn't such a wise thing to do that, but at that moment I voted what I felt like.
You think you might regret your decision?
Yeah.
I actually voted to come out of the EU. I was really, really indecisive until a couple of days before because I was thinking of the future, the children, etc. And I did out, but I really, really didn't think we would come out.
I must admit, I've voted out. I must admit, I've got, as I said to your research, I've got a lump in my throat. I do have a lump in my throat. I feel a bit sick because of my kids. They wanted to remain. Everyone I know practically, I'm just looking at all the Facebook comments, everyone's really upset and gutted. But I do feel a bit sick. Now, with this big lie, okay, this £350 million a day that we were told was going to go into the NHS, why haven't we, if it is a lie, is it a definite lie?
Yes.
Lie? Yeah?
Yes, it's a lie.
Okay, then why don't we have, we've been conned, then we need another referendum, number one.
Please, God, no, Susan.
Okay, no, hold on, number two, the reason why I voted out, I love Europe. I love the world as individual countries with their own identity. When Ireland first went into the EU, I felt sick, actually. I felt really upset when they lost their pound, they lost the punt. I felt sick because it puts an end to individualism of all different countries.
And has it? I mean, you go back to Ireland a lot. I've been there a bit recently. I haven't noticed come off it. There's been no dilution in the individualism of the Irish people. Do you think you'd have celebrated less the other night when we scored that late winner against Italy?
No, but when I go back and it's Euros, look.
Although I went home to vote to come out, and now would change my mind of what's happened. Nobody told us, nobody explained or probably thought about people like yourselves caravanning around Europe. There must be 500,000 people doing that.
I hope you enjoyed my political observations this week. If you'd like to support me, please share the video with others and post about it on social media. If you're keen for more, subscribe, comment, like, and hit that notification button. Thanks for listening, and see you next time on Political X.